Thanks very much, Simri. When I sort of meet people and tell them that I'm starting an edtech cluster and incubator, they always have exactly the same reaction. People immediately say, wow, so interesting. And then they pause and they say, so what is it exactly that you're going to do? Well, we're going to do three things. We are going to cluster edtech companies in the Bandwidth Barn in Woodstock. So if you're an edtech entrepreneur here, or you know an edtech entrepreneur, and you're looking for world-class office space to be part of our innovation and collaboration activity, then come and talk to me after the talk. Secondly, we're going to run great events. We are going to have a monthly edtech meetup. First one's going to be on the 15th of March, and we're also going to have debates and have speakers that kind of put this cluster right at the center of the education conversation in South Africa. But thirdly, and most importantly, we are going to run the continent's first edtech dedicated incubator program. We are going to take 20 entrepreneurs with the biggest ideas for technology in education. We're going to run them through a 9-month stage-gated process. We're going to invest in them. And then we are going to graduate edtech businesses that can sustain job creation and wealth creation and really make a big impact on education across the country. Now, the reason that Citi and I are doing this is because business as usual has failed in education in South Africa. The most shocking stat from those PISA and TIMSS league tables is not actually that South African students lose to students from Botswana or from Morocco or Egypt. It's that on the PISA maths tests, the average 14-year-old child in Singapore scores higher than the average South African maths teacher. Now, in a world where all of the evidence shows that the quality of your education system cannot exceed the quality of your teachers, that is a massive structural barrier to progress. And it is not the only such structural barrier that exists in this education system. So if we are serious about raising standards, about extending opportunities, and particularly if we are serious about doing it for the poorest and most vulnerable people who need it the most, then we have got to do things differently. Got to take advantage of the big advances that are being made in education technology and advantage of the spirit of entrepreneurialism and innovation that is so rich in this country. It can begin at the very start in education. Early years literacy is a massive challenge, but we know that systematic synthetic phonics is the best way for children to learn to read, and we know that you can give that via apps and games to kids without a great teacher. So why isn't it in the hands of every early years learner in South Africa? We know that initial teacher training and professional development aren't always good enough. But across the internet, there's a wealth of great material from great people. So why doesn't someone take that, bring it together, zero-rate it, and create a Khan Academy for teachers that could go across the country? And we certainly know that access to, funding of, and dropout from higher education is tearing at the very fabric of South African society. But there is a simple, low-cost online initiative called the Self-Authoring Program that is proven to halve the dropout rate and boost the grades of disadvantaged students by over 25%. So why isn't that being used in every university in South Africa? Well, the reason that innovations like these don't take off, it's not because this country lacks great entrepreneurs. It's because those entrepreneurs don't get the funding they need. They can't hire the right people. They can't get the right services, build the right relationships, or get the skills and mentoring they need to build sustainable businesses. Now, despite that, there is a lot already happening in edtech in the Western Cape. I think Sam and the guys from Get Smarter, you're going to hear from Sam later, they are serving the world's best universities with what I think are the world's best online courses. Mike Darby with his social project, bringing tech interventions into the communities that need them the most. And Siyavula are opening up maths and science content in really innovative ways in schools that badly need someone to do that. But the problem at the moment is if you're an edtech entrepreneur in South Africa, you've got to take on the world in order to win. And that is what we are going to change with our edtech cluster. We're going to create the kind of ecosystem where, funders, PCs, PE, angels, they're banging on the door of edtech companies because they've got great business models and slick pitches. Those companies are going to be hiring the right people, accessing services innovatively, low cost, and they are going to build great relationships with schools, early years centres, TVET, universities, the government, so they have got strong supply chains and great sales channels. I seriously believe that the Western Cape, with the way it has great entrepreneurs, it's got great infrastructure, this city is a huge pull for overseas talent, and it's got this crazy education system that's been so successful so quickly at expanding access to everybody, yet failed so completely at making opportunity more equal. I believe we can make it a center for edtech innovation right across the world. Not just this country, not just this continent, but the entire world. And that, in our edtech cluster, and with the help of people like you in this room, is exactly what we plan to do. Thank you very much.